$150 million in rookie jersey sales for Shedeur Sanders, which means he's going to commission $14 million. He only made $4.6 million from his rookie contract. So he's already made more than most second, third, whatever round. This is a sign for anybody out there that feels like they've been done wrong. You are always going to end up on the right side if you are a good person. Shedeur has been doing nothing, keeping quiet, working, minding his business, driving speed limit hopefully, and doing everything he needs to do to prepare for this upcoming season.
So let me get this straight. A fifth-round rookie quarterback, drafted 144th overall, not even guaranteed a starting job in the NFL, has just forced the biggest brand in sports to rip up the endorsement playbook? This isn't just business as usual. This is a revolution, and the name at the center of it is Shedeur Sanders. When Shedeur laughed about gifting teammates some cleats and watching them sell out instantly, he wasn't bragging. He was foreshadowing a storm that nobody in the league saw coming. Nike is now preparing to hand him a contract so massive, so unprecedented, that insiders are calling it the biggest rookie endorsement in NFL history. And the craziest part? It's not just hype. The numbers don't lie. After his preseason debut against the Carolina Panthers, Shedeur's jersey sales didn't just trickle in, they exploded. We're talking about $250 million in rookie jersey sales. Let that sink in. $250 million generated before he's even thrown a regular season pass. That's more than most Hall of Fame quarterbacks ever pulled off in their rookie year, and it puts Shedeur in a category that only one man ever occupied before, his father, Deion "Primetime" Sanders. Now here's where things get insane. Shedeur's rookie contract pays him about $4.6 million over 4 years. But thanks to his prime equity clause, he pockets a percentage of every jersey, every cleat, every piece of merchandise tied to his name. From that $250 million wave of jersey sales alone, Shedeur is set to earn $14 million. That means in just a few weeks, he has already made triple his entire rookie contract. This isn't just a paycheck, it's a power move. Shedeur Sanders is rewriting the business of football before he's even played a real NFL game. But I gotta ask you, the fans watching right now, do you think Shedeur's business genius is proof that he's destined for greatness? Or is this a distraction that could hurt him once the real games begin? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, because this is where the story takes a wild turn. Here's the truth, Shedeur's prime equity clause is bigger than just one player. It's a blueprint. It's a challenge to the way the NFL has operated for decades. While most rookies are fighting for roster spots, Shedeur came in with a plan. His agents demanded this clause during negotiations, and many believe that's why teams let him slip all the way to the 5th round. Some executives thought the demands were outrageous. But Nike? Nike saw the vision. This clause doesn't just give him money from jerseys. It gives him rights over sponsorships, media content, even behind-the-scenes footage from his own platforms like Twitch and Instagram. Imagine the power that holds. We're not talking about just wearing the swoosh for a paycheck. We're talking about being a business partner with Nike, with his own stake in the brand. And let's be real, most 5th-round picks are fighting just to make the team. Shedeur? He's already financially outpacing first-rounders before the season even starts. This isn't just about football anymore. This is about empire building. Think about the timing here. Nike signed Shedeur back in college, making him their first official Nike football nil athlete. They didn't wait until he was a pro, they locked him in early, betting on his potential and his family's legacy. And then they doubled down when the draft rolled around. Remember, Shedeur was projected as a top prospect, yet he fell. Some say character questions. Some say arrogance. But others? They say it was because of those contract demands, because he dared to challenge the system. And when every other brand stayed quiet, Nike went all in. They broke their social media silence with Shedeur-only posts, flooding the internet with custom gear, exclusive sneakers, and bold captions like, "Only a matter of time." And when Shedeur stepped on that preseason field and dropped 138 yards with 2 touchdowns, Nike was ready. Within hours, they had a viral ad campaign up, featuring his signature watch celebration. That ad alone racked up nearly 200,000 likes and millions of views.
From his undeniable talent to his magnetic pull to the fact that Shedeur's jersey, the one with the name of the black quarterback who's defying expectations, is currently the #1 selling jersey among all rookies, even outranking higher draft picks. So that popularity, that organic connection with fans probably stings more than any stat line, because when you're taught that you're inherently superior, another's authentic success feels like a personal affront. It's not about the game. It's about the perceived order of things being disrupted. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the true microaggression, the inability to just compete and respect without the need of self-serving narratives that quietly diminishing the power and the presence of a black star. In other words, Dillon Gabriel wanted to exalt himself while trying to downplay and diminish the power of Shedeur Sanders and the presence of a black star. But as you can see, it all backfired.
But let's be clear, this isn't only about sneakers and jerseys. This is about a bigger war brewing in sports marketing. Nike isn't just promoting an athlete, they're reshaping the way rookies enter the league. They've built an entire product line around him. Jerseys for men, women, kids, limited edition cleats, reimagined Air DT sneakers honoring his father's legacy, and even merchandise that sells for as little as $30 so younger fans can get in on the movement. That's accessibility, strategy, and culture all rolled into one. So here's my next question for you. Do you believe Nike's gamble on Shedeur Sanders is going to pay off long-term, or are they putting too much stock in a rookie who hasn't proven himself in the regular season yet? Let me know, because this debate is about to get even more heated. And yet, while the fans are buying in, not everyone in the league is clapping. Behind the scenes, executives are whispering. Some are furious that a rookie could demand so much power. Some believe the NFL's balance is at risk if other young stars start asking for the same deal. Think about it. If Shedeur's clause becomes the standard, rookies will no longer be just players. They'll be shareholders in their own brand. That changes everything, from how contracts are written, to how teams control their rosters, to how much leverage these athletes hold over billion-dollar organizations. The NFL has never seen anything like this before. And some people in power absolutely hate it. And that brings us to the heart of the controversy. Shedeur Sanders isn't just a quarterback. He's a brand. He's an empire in the making. But with that empire comes noise, critics, and enemies who are already trying to tear him down. And trust me, the smear campaigns, the leaked stories, the controversies, they're just getting started. But here's where things get really ugly. Because the moment Shedeur Sanders flipped the script on the business of football, the smear campaigns began. It started in the draft. Before April, analysts had Shedeur projected anywhere from the late first round to the early second. He had the numbers, he had the pedigree, and he had the spotlight. Yet somehow, mysteriously, he slipped all the way to the 5th round, 144th overall. Coincidence? Please. Multiple reports surfaced that some front offices were spreading whispers about his attitude, about his entourage, about how he and Dion wanted too much control. Let's call it what it was: fear. Fear that if Shedeur Sanders got drafted high, he'd set a precedent no team wanted to deal with. Because remember, this wasn't just about drafting a quarterback. This was about drafting a quarterback who already came with his own empire, his own media arm, his own marketing machine. And for a league obsessed with control, that was a problem. If you think teams let Shedeur slide because of talent, you're fooling yourself. This was politics. This was power. And the NFL doesn't give up power easily. And yet, the smear campaigns didn't stop with the draft. The moment he signed his deal in Cleveland, suddenly, stories started surfacing. Local outlets pushing headlines about Shedeur's speeding tickets, about him driving recklessly in Boulder, about the police pulling him over. Was he perfect? He's 22, driving high-end cars, living in the spotlight. But ask yourself this: why do these stories hit the media now? Why now, when the Nike contract is rumored to be finalized? Why now, when jersey sales are breaking records? Because when you can't beat someone on the field or at the bank, you attack their character. And let's not pretend this is new. They did the same thing to his father. Shedeur Sanders was painted as a loudmouth, as flashy, as selfish, until he shut everybody up by becoming one of the greatest defensive players the game has ever seen. The apple didn't fall far from the tree. Shedeur has the same swagger, the same fire, and the same critics trying to drag him down. Every time a Sanders makes history, the system tries to break them. But history shows Sanders always wins. Now let's talk about Antonio Brown. Because if you thought the speeding tickets were bad, AB took it to a whole different level. The former All-Pro wideout has made Shedeur one of his favorite punching bags, constantly posting on social media about "nephew ain't built for Sundays" or "watch the Browns regret that draft pick." And let's be real, Antonio Brown isn't exactly a credible voice these days. But his platform is big, his antics draw attention, and his attacks feed the narrative that Shedeur is being overhyped. And trust me, that gets in people's heads. But here's the thing. Instead of firing back, Shedeur has been ice cold. Silent. Focused. While AB rants on Instagram Live, Shedeur shows up to camp, shakes hands with veterans, and quietly drops dimes in practice. That's silence? That's strategy. That's maturity beyond his years. And then there's the Cleveland Browns locker room. Because if you thought the outside noise was loud, imagine what's happening behind closed doors. Dillon Gabriel, the other rookie quarterback, has his own supporters. He's more of a traditional prospect. He doesn't have the cameras in his face. He doesn't have Nike deals. Some veterans look at him and think, that's a guy we can trust. And you better believe the coaching staff feels the tension. Do you give the reins to the superstar with all the hype, or the quieter rookie who's just grinding? This is where things get dangerous. Because Shedeur Sanders isn't just competing for a job. He's competing for respect in a locker room full of grown men who don't care about sneaker deals. They care about wins. They care about who can lead them on Sundays. And if Shedeur stumbles early, if he throws a pick in preseason, if he struggles with reads, the critics will pounce, the headlines will explode, and the calls for Dillon Gabriel will get louder.
Tell the truth. Does this surprise you guys? That Shedeur Sanders, pick number 144, is now the best-selling jersey of the draft class.
No, and this is why he's going to be a Cleveland Brown. I think he's going to be on the roster no matter what. Because at the end of the day, I do think he has a safe floor at quarterback, but those type of things, moving the needle, moving dollars around, and being relevant as a franchise, that's what you want as an owner.
Well, Jimmy loves this, yeah.
No doubt.
So, and the other interesting thing is that Fanatics is selling 9 different items. 9 items for him, which is more than any other draft pick outside of Cam Ward. There are 9 different options.
Kids are going to love Shedeur Sanders.
I like that dollar sign.
They
want
to throw up those watches, man. You know, throw up that watch. You want to be legendary.
They want to be legendary.
Did you see the video of him yesterday? He found like a park, and he was doing lunges up the hill in Cleveland. He's already putting in the work. No, lunging up the hill. Yeah. I'm like, maybe I need to try that out.
That's the tightrope Shedeur is walking right now. One misstep and the narrative flips. One misstep and the business empire becomes a liability instead of an asset. But let me remind you of something. Shedeur Sanders has been doubted his entire career. They said he couldn't play at Jackson State. He balled out. They said he'd crumble at Colorado. He set records. They said he wouldn't survive the draft slide. He walked out with Nike's biggest rookie deal ever. Every single time, when the pressure mounts, when the critics circle, Shedeur answers. And now, with the weight of an NFL franchise and $1 billion brand on his shoulders, the stakes have never been higher. This isn't just about the Cleveland Browns. This isn't just about the NFL. This is about whether Shedeur Sanders can take control of his own story and prove the entire league wrong. So here's where we stand. On one side, you've got the doubters. Executives whispering about attitude, analysts questioning his focus, Antonio Brown throwing shade, and even some teammates wondering if the cameras are more important than the playbook. On the other side, you've got Nike, Dion, millions of fans, and a movement that believes Shedeur Sanders isn't just the next big thing. He's the future of football. And that's the beauty of this moment. Because in the NFL, legends aren't made in marketing campaigns or jersey sales. They're made on Sundays, under the lights, with the ball in your hands and the game on the line. That's where Shedeur will be judged. That's where his story will be written. And if history tells us anything, it's that when a Sanders steps onto that field, they don't just play the game, they change it. So let me leave you with this. Do you believe Shedeur Sanders is destined to become the NFL's next superstar, proving every hater wrong? Or do you think the business empire, the Nike contract, the prime equity, it's all too much too soon? Because one thing is certain, love him or hate him, you can't ignore him. Shedeur Sanders isn't just in the NFL. He's about to test whether the NFL is ready for him. Like and subscribe, because trust me, this story is only getting started.